That might be it.
What's going on, world? Jack of all spades, CLT. And this time, we back like cook crack. Shout out Joel Santana. As always, I am the beloved one, DJ Spellman. To my left, we have the Pride of Africa, Ken Wabibi.
It's your boy, Pride of Africa, Ken Wabibi. Shout out to all the diaspora. Shout out to all the diaspora.
All right, send it off on the right. We got the boy, Banks on the beat.
Yes, sir. Blue Water Banks on the beat. Fat Boy Tires.
3700.
Some Boulevard.
The hub.
Talk to him.
Hold tight, Jay Marlowe, a.k.a. Local 6. But we still got Carla running the camera. Shout out to you, sis. But today, our special guest for the episode. I mean, South Central LA native, self-proclaimed jack of all trades, so it's only right that we bring him on to Jack of all spades. We got Javarian Holley, a.k.a. Skinny J, a.k.a. Big Skinny, a.k.a. It's all about the friends.
Hey, talk about
What's going on, boy?
what's going on, man. We in the building.
Man, long time coming. This should have been happening, but
Hey.
you know, things happen when it's time for it.
When it's time, it's time.
Yeah, 100%.
It's yours right now. So all first-time listeners, last-time listeners, we start our segment off with the flowers. So with Jay, he got a little resume here, man. Big resume. What I'm talking about, man.
Stop playing with him.
Yo,
Small.
creative director, community connector, model, philanthropist, artist manager, seed planner, CEO of Creativity Collaboration, public relations, Westcott Studio, low-key A&R, the GOD out here curating these events out here. If you didn't know, you've seen it now. You've seen it over the past 2 years.
Yeah.
You know what's going on out here. Also, you've been featured in Voyage LA and Raleigh, Uncovered Podcast, Who Got Next Podcast, and As of Late Podcast. Man, talk about this, man. Let us know what's going on.
Man, it's just a lot. It's a lot that I do, but full spin around is just community. Just honestly, everybody on that you spoke of, it's just bringing us together as one. And as we move, like we all move together. So that's what, like when you wrap everything up, like I do a lot, like many hats that I do, but it's that community aspect of it to bring everybody together as one.
I respect that. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, man.
So like we said in the intro, you're from South Central LA native.
Yes, sir.
So can you talk about your upbringings from the Best Coast and what are some of the moments early in your life that shape you to who you are today?
I would say, it being the Best Coast, like shout out to the West. But it's just the upbringing was more of just me tapping in just the creativity around me, just from like murals, just from different gender of people, just like Venice Beach, and then you go from South Central to like the IE, the Valley, all these different creativities around the whole LA and then West Coast, Los Angeles. It's just a melting pot of different ideas, but with the different ideas you just take from, okay, the person you want to be. So growing up, I really didn't tap into the creative side because I had to go through, hardships of learning how to become a man and, just it's rough out here sometimes. So, with a father figure like I had, in and out of my life, that's cool. But at the same time, my mom, she kind of was that backbone for me to really like, okay, I can show you stuff, but then also you got to get out there and become the man you want to be. So, but through all that though, just finding my true self of the values and the morals that I was just brought on from family and friends.
All right, so being from, the West Coast, but specifically LA, of course, most people know of the gang culture. Yeah. So did you have to kind of navigate that as well, through your formative years?
You navigated through it, but then also too, it's just that common respect as when you are navigating to like, if you keep to yourself, you're gonna be okay, but it's gonna find you. But it's just a simple fact. You have to stand on that respect of politics to, certain neighborhoods, you can't wear a certain color. Or if you're visiting somebody, they might not know you, but you're just in there, you're just a local. So it's like at the same time, you might get pressed on where you from. And it's just from there, it's just like, okay, you got to let them know where you from, or it can be, part two of that. But then also, too, it done changed over the years, just from like third generation down and stuff like that. But it's just a simple fact. It's just one of them ones they can tell, they can smell when you're not there? Or is it just you're coming into our backyard just to take pictures, and it's just like people who's been staying there for a while, and it's just like you can't just come, you see something on TV and try and take a picture and just show this reality, because some people are still struggling in that same reality, and you just want to portray it for 5 minutes just for like a Instagram pic. So.
No, that's real.
Message.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Not just in LA though, you know. What I mean?
It's
all over.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Like
everywhere,
even, like even with Charlotte, and like
Yeah.
you know, like I claim Charlotte as well, but it's just a simple fact. You can't really. A lot of people see what's on TV, but it's like if you come to these neighborhoods out and about, you still have people still struggling within that community, and it's just like they don't like that, because it's like, don't just use me as a bait, you know?
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna use me as a bait, at least help me out. You know,
Right.
help me to get to where I need to be.
Yeah, no, that's real. All right, so you embody the abundance mentality, man. Like, it's nothing for you to shine your light on your friends. And like we said in the intro, it's never been about you. It's always been about your friends. So how do you have that mindset to not have that ego trip? Like, I'm highlighting other people, but it's not about me. So where did you develop that mindset from?
Honestly, it just came from just like I know we get into it like my internship, but just honestly just seeing, just helping people just in general, to where like you got so many people like, okay, if you help me, you got to do something for me. And then it's like, okay, why? You know? But then again, too, a helping can be just a hello to start my day, get my day going. And that's just something free.
Say that.
You
Say
know?
that.
But mine's came from just like I always been that person to support people with what they do, and they never really had, I call it a cheerleader almost, because some people don't have people in their corner to really support what they're doing. Like I want to do this, and their parents might be like, nah, you don't need to do that. You need to go to school. You might not like school, really. You might not like college, and no offense to anybody with degrees and stuff, but college is not for some people. But at the same time, you can have somebody who okay, I'm going to push you. Like, you want to do that? We want to do that? Like, what can we do to get you to do that? Because if this is your vision, your dream, I want to be a part of it, because I want to see your success, because as you're going through that, you're going to help me push if I feel like, okay, I can't do something, and we're going through something together.
Okay, that's like I forget who it was who said it to us, but like finding your tribe too as well. Mariah said that, finding your tribe. You know, there's plenty of people out here trying to do things, but you know, there's gonna be some people that want something from you for some help. There's gonna be some people that's genuinely gonna support you because they understand what you're doing and what you're trying to get done. So you know, everybody may not be for you. But you know, moving forward, now we know you humble. But these days, Skinny, you just gotta let niggas know, man. You gotta let niggas know what's happening.
We're here
right?
for it.
Hey,
You know.
let's talk about it.
So, what's the biggest compliment you received thus far?
Biggest, wow, y'all put me on the spot. Honestly, I would say somebody told me like this person, I never like knew they were really tapped in what I was doing, but they really told me, they was like, you would be the gym in the city of Charlotte. Shout out to Young Citizen, but you know, I know, you know, Citizen, that's my brother, you know, but just tapped into seeing what I was doing, and he was like, I was gonna be the gym of Charlotte, to bringing everyone together, and that really that just like, that did something to me, because it's like I was already doing it, but it just kind of put that battery in my back to, okay, you really got to do it now. And it's no pressure, but it's just like, okay, instead of turning it up at 50%, let's turn it up to like a 90.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to get to that 100% or more, you know? And that just really opened my eyes to really just like resources for people, and just really just going to different things, learning about different sponsorships, and just connecting with so many other people now. Instead of, you know, we have our own little tribe, but at the same time, I want to introduce my tribe to other tribes, and then it just creates that bigger community. So as our community grow, it goes trickle down to another community, and then it's just like it gets bigger and bigger.
For sure. And if you know Young Citizen, you know his words carry some weight, man. So, you know, shout out to him as well. Also, following up that question, what's a moment you had to go all in for yourself, or, you know, on a project just to prove somebody wrong?
I would say probably like the Skinny J and Friends, because I think a lot of people, you know, we do the same thing, but it's from a different perspective. And I think for me, you know, we get caught up of such and such is doing this, such and such doing that. But I knew the pressure for me was to how can I make my event different to where it may look like the same or a showcase or however, but what can I do different? But that pressure is making sure the logistics part of making sure, like, when you go to a Skinny J and Friends event, it's legendary. Like, you gonna remember, okay, yeah, Skinny J having this, man, you need to be there, like, or whatever I do. And I think I finally got that niche now to where, like, I'm doing something outside of, like, different stuff now, and it's just like the love is just real.
I gotta ask this question before I get to my next question though. Yeah. You got a lot going on. Like, how do your day look like? Cause it seems like every time I go on IG, you got this going on, photo shoot here. It's like event planning over there. Like, yo, how you map that all out?
Man, my iPad and my notes. That's my best friend. Simple. That's my best friend. Like, but it's my friends. That's my team because I really don't have a team. Like, I do everything, but I like doing everything by myself because it keeps me grounded and keeps that checklist for me. Yeah. But yeah, it's just the notes and just really just my notes and my iPad, just following up and then just knowing things are gonna happen and just knowing like, okay, I need to be here just to show extra support or wherever I can help out, you know.
So we'll go to an IG post you had. This is
Hold tight.
I'm moving too fast.
I had to hit over the DJ. Hold tight real quick. Hold on.
I'm going to do that.
Hold on, man. You know, my man Skinny is like an Adidas ambassador, so I had to hit him with the, you know, the way Pharrell sees sounds is the same way your mind processes creativity. So speak on innovation, the innovation of branding movement, your branding movement.
Branding movement, I mean, shout out to Adidas too. That's, you know, that's gang. Branding movement for me is just having that signature brand of, you know, my character is myself, and then the community part is my friends. But using Pharrell was a big inspiration with Bape and stuff, streetwear, what I wear. But it's that signature to where you can post it anywhere and somebody knows, you know, oh snap, that's Skinny J or he's doing something. But just the innovation part of just branding yourself. Like, you know, I may use that as my logo, but then again, I'm up and down with different logos. But it represents you. It represents your values, your morals of you as a person. So, and I know that's one thing with Pharrell. He can do anything, but how he innovated to where he can do something, you know, I think he did something with A$AP Rocky, but then he did something with Kendrick, and then he did something with Rihanna. So everybody's versatile. So I try and use that as to push the limits of what I want to do and show different aspects of my actual brand. So like you may come to an event, it may be art, or you may come to an event, it may be hip hop, but then again, you may see an R&B, you may see the unusual, you know. Coming up, I'm doing something, it's like a flea market thing where we're giving like a couple vendors, small vendors to come through, network, meet some people, but just something new from it. So the innovation of just doing different lanes of different things.
Okay.
Now let me say this though, like Skinny J, that's definitely a brand. You know what I'm saying? But you highlight so many others, and I just want you to shout out Bob's Liquor real quick. Like, what's the story behind that? Because if you can peep it on the YouTube, you're gonna see the hat and the shirt.
Bob Liquor, shout out to the homie out there in LA. This is his brand, Tim. Pretty much, you know, it's a brand that, you know, when you look at it, you like, Bob Liquor Store. You're like, what is that? You know, is it a liquor store or what? But it's actually a brand that just caters to different things from, you know, we call it bootlegging, but Tim creativity of different things that he put a flip on. Like he do several different shirts, he do candles, but if you go to his site, it's just different bootleg to where it makes you remember the stuff in the Essex. Like for example, he did a Maury, You're Not the Father shirt. And it's just a graphic shirt, but it got Maury. And if you watch Maury back in the day, and then on the back it got, you know, you used to see the sign, You're Not the Father. Like that makes you just think back, I used to watch that show, you know, and when that used to come up on the screen. So, or even just little, I have a hat that says Fakester, where he flipped like the Bapester, but it got the Fakester sign on the brim. So, but it makes you go back to like, okay, Bape used to make those hats. So, but yeah, dope brand. Shout out to Bob Liquor Store though.
Really shout out.
You're getting this Dapper Dan on right now.
A little nostalgic clothing line. Okay. Oh, so let me get into this IG post.
Now you got it. Here we go.
I'm trying to think. I be putting so much on IG. I'm like,
So this comes from April the 1st of this year.
okay.
It says, from thinking to planning to putting it in motion. If people follow your example, they'll be successful. But what that quote help? How did that quote help say you keep you motivated through your journey? You got dicey for a second, bad bro.
Yeah, okay. I would say I got to shout out to Blue Water Banks on that.
Hey.
I got to shout my man's out because I've been knowing Banks for years, but just every time we talk, and Banks and shout out to Dion from Dump and SWAT and a couple other people, just the whole community, but those two really chimed in on me just about the branding part, because I would just pop up Skinny J, oh yeah, he in the building, but the branding part to where like Banks, we talked, and it was just like you got to figure out that planning part of your branding and just what you want to do with it. And same with Dion, just when I started doing merch, and I really had to sit back and just really dissect planning, because I would just go with the flow and just do things, and it's like, yeah, that's cool, but at the same time, planning and executing it perfectly is the beautiful part of it. But instead of rushing things, prime example, I was trying to do a festival like in 2 months, but I'm like, nah. And like I was just telling Banks the other day, I'd rather take a whole year, because if I'm gonna do it right and I'm a community, I want to put the whole community in the festival. I can't get so that the community in 2 months, because so much stuff is going on. But if I plan it for a year, I can have the whole community ready, so when it's time to press that start button, we ready to go.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I do appreciate, with you always have an actual event going on where people can actually go and attend to. It's like there's not too many spaces or even event planners. I consider you an event planner. You might not call yourself an event planner.
I've been getting that. I mean, I like giving back to our, our, the events, spaces that we have that's for us. And
correct.
Even with that, I'm trying to get these resources to where certain event spaces we can't do, I'm trying to make it to where we can actually do that. And I think some people don't know we have access to these resources or these spaces, but it's just that conversation. Just letting them know you're a business, and then also just what you bring, because a lot of people, they may look at Skinny J and Friends and be like, oh, that's a liability. But if you come to one of my shows, I don't really have liquor. It's pretty much you come to have a good time. And that's just how I was raised. To like, granted, I would go to parties and stuff with my family, and it would be no liquor, but I'd be like, as I got older, I remember asking my mom, like, where was the stuff at, But she was like, we just always had a good time back in the day. It wasn't about, you carry your problems, but when you came there through the door, you was about having a good time meeting people. So it's just about just expanding, but then also just getting these spots that, okay, you can't do it here, but yes, you can. You just have to present it. You're about business, about your brand, and just let them know, like, hey, that stigma of, okay, we're not about to come in here and like mess
trash the
up.
place up.
Trash the place up, but we're gonna be respectful to your space, and whatever we need to pay, this and that, we're gonna make sure, because we're paying for it to use your services.
I think that's very necessary. So, Jack of all Spades Nation, please just always play back what Skinny just said, because a lot of times we feel like because of us being from the culture, we can't, or we're not accepted in certain spots.
Correct.
But I appreciate you saying that, because we can.
Oh yeah.
100%, man. So we're gonna do a slight little transition. So of course, RIP Neighborhood Nip. So you actually interned at the Marathon Clothing Store. So what are some lessons, and what did you learn from your time there?
Man, I would say that was just that was a wild ride itself. But shout out to my cousin Shep. Like, he really helped me get the internship, and he's like best friends with Nip. So it was kind of like, I can tell him about you, but you got to go up there and talk to him. And it was just kind of me just throughout college, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. But it was like, man, this would be a good opportunity, because I saw the transition of what they were doing. And just speaking to him, it was just like, okay, I know you Shep cousin, but you're gonna work your way up. Just, it's not just because you his cousin, that's my man. So you're gonna work your way up. And just the life lessons of, from taking the trash out, getting coffee, just really talking to people outside of the store, and just the value lessons of Nip was one of those ones with community. Like he would, he can be driving past, backing his car up, and you stop him just to ask him a question. He's gonna answer that question, or he's gonna ask you all the time, "What do you want to do?" And that was just something I always think back now to, our RP Nip, but it registered now to about when he used to always ask me, "Skinny, what did you want to do?" And it was like I could never tell him an answer, but now I know the answer to tell him from the life stuff that he taught me about building yourself, building your brand, building a community, because his legacy is like still going on at this point, and it's going to forever go on because he started it. He knew the vision of building that legacy first, and then everything else gonna fall in place.
Well, BB, before you get to yours, I gotta say this: Free Shep.
Oh yeah, Shep out though.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Big up then.
Yeah, Shep is out. He is with his daughter, his family. He's living beautiful, so he's out. So.
Boy, back
What's
active.
up? Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I was gonna ask, what's the answer to the question now?
Oh, okay. Okay. But I would say what I've learned though is just family, just from just lessons and just hustling from a legal standpoint to being just the person you want to do, but those dreams and ambitions of doing things to really doing them. Like he took a store and changed it from just that neighborhood T-shirt shop into a smart store. Like I tell a lot of people, I feel like he was ahead of like the NFT, because when you look at it, you would be able to come in his store, take your phone, scan the QR code, and it can pull up a music or a playlist of something unreleased, and you can be listening to that while you're in there purchasing a shirt. So that was one thing that I think that stood out, but then also too, that was the first thing that you saw in that Slauson neighborhood, and the community was proud because he pretty much took like all those business that's around the actual store were pretty much bought out by him. So he gave back, he poured back in the community. So that was just one thing that I learned, just to always, as you elevate up, always pour back into the community because they pour into you. So that's why I tell a lot of people, it's never been about me, because granted, I'm doing my thing, but my friends that pour into me, I'm gonna continue to pour back into them. And that was one thing like Nip always did, like pour back into the community to where, they just came out for him, or whatever case may be, not just because he was a celebrity, but he really dropped gems if you needed it, or if you just, what you got going on or what you doing.
Speaking of family, speak on Shane Pharrell and your West Coast family. This is actually a two-part question.
Gotcha.
So speak on Shane Pharrell and your West Coast family, and talk about how you got their brand into Urban Outfitters.
Okay. Shout out to West Sky Studios. Shout out to Shane, that's the owner. Man, West Sky, it's just one of those brands. They, like I tell them, I do public relations with them, but it's just, we're a unique brand to where I came in, I just admire their stuff just from what they're doing. And, as a collective, we're not that average brand. We really, we are community-based, but we also take it to where that DIY, like do it yourself, but we want you to get in there to where, like, if we're having a pop-up, dye things, to really show you, like, make your shirt a unique shirt, because every shirt is like a one of one if we do the dye process. So it's not like you're out and about, somebody got that same shirt. 9 times out of 10, they don't. They may have the same color, but the same dye technique, they're not gonna have it. And that's what makes us stand out, because it's like you look at it and be like, okay, that shirt right there is dope, but it's just the dye from what you did from it. But answer to part 2, Urban Outfitters was just pretty much getting in touch with the right people, but then also just them seeing what we do. And then, because we done did, I think, like 2 pop-ups with them, and then we did Earth Day. They invited us back for Earth Day. Okay. And it just represents our brand. So we go with things that make sense. But it was just that conversation of saying, hey, we might be the new kids on the block, but, it's so many other brands, but we just want you to just look and see what we're doing just from a different perspective. That's from, anybody can do T-shirts and this and that, but, our stuff, it goes off of Shane, when he creates, it goes off of emotions of different things. Shane, he listens to a lot of music, and just what he does, he create from a vulnerability of, like, his emotions, and then as a team, we come in and, we discuss how we want to move the projects forward. And one thing was just with Urban picking us up, they just saw the vision in it. And shout out to Charlie too, out there in South Park. And she just started, reaching back out, and just it was one of them things. Was like, hey, you guys want to be a part of this? And we took no chance on jumping on it. And then three pop-ups later during Earth Day, and yeah, it's just been rocking and rolling with Urban. So like, shout out to them, like real talk.
Yeah, and I had pulled up myself and copped something,
Oh, yeah.
man. And another thing that was great to see, like not only to see the brand in the store, but Skinny J, all the friends was in there. Like I seen a lot of people that came and pulled up and support, and that's what this community thing is all about. So shout out to y'all for all of that, man.
I appreciate it.
Now to follow that, you always pour into your friends, but I want you to take this moment to shout out how they poured into you.
Okay. How they pour. How everyone pour in me, they just motivate me to where I can be, out and about. And it's just like even y'all, just seeing y'all, just, I could have had a bad day, but just, I pull up and see the homies, and it's just like, it's motivation to how y'all work, the work ethics, and just the surroundings of just really like keeping me motivated. Because, y'all say, Skinny, keep doing what you're doing, or, like the events, coming to the events, showing support, showing love, like that just keeps me going to where it's like, okay, I'm going to continue this, And like I tell you, a lot of people, you can, like from Instagram, it seems like I'm moving a lot, but sometimes I really be chilling. Like I post a lot, but it's just like certain stuff. I just it got to be out there to where like I want to, show that support. Like even, the interviews you guys do, like I like showing like different people on my page, like tap into, because just the message of it. I know, for example, I think it was Mickey Blend. Shout out to Blends. Her episode was very inspiring, and it's like a couple of my homies who's like women. I know some of them reach out to me about just certain stuff they're going to, and I was like, hey, check Mickey interview out. Like, she's going over, just being a woman in the industry. Like, take certain gems, what she's doing, and then also I can get you in contact with her just so if you need that personal, just to ask her. And I think a lot of people, they have that pride on asking people for help. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, nah, because if I need help on something, that's like with Bank, I call Banks in a minute, be like, man, is this right? And his be like, nah, and it's just that checker for me to, okay, listen, but then also that guidance too, because it helps me to knowing how to do things, just with hey, Skinny, you may need to wait or whatever case may be, but then at the same time. Also, I was just talking, shout out to Luke too, and Citizen. Mm-hmm. They talked to me about balance. And it was just a conversation, just 30 minutes, just about balance. And they like, Skinny, you doing what you need to do, but just make sure you're taking time for yourself, just that balance. And, that just poured into me, just, really just relaxing. I don't got to be at every event, but just if I can support it on IG, that's what I'm going to do,
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you just said that word balance, because you coming off of saying, yo, people check the IG. It always looks like I'm busy. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. But in finding balance, I'm also curious to hear, like, yo, what does Skinny do in his spare time? How does he decompress? Like, what are you doing to keep this balance?
When I would say probably fashion. I know that's bad, but I'm super into like streetwear fashion. But honestly, that balance for me is the logistics behind a lot of stuff that I really I help out. For example, shout out my homie Malik. I helped with his Faces exhibition that was at Be Social, and I did like the logistics part. Just even with Cuzzo Key, just with his vision, just working out with his brand, and so it's just the behind the scenes of things, and just really just not too much put my stuff what I'm doing, but just really behind the scenes of my friends and just helping them what they got going on. But then I'm one of the ones, I'm just kicking it. I'm watching YouTube, just watching I watch podcasts a lot. Drink Champs.
Yeah, shout out.
Y'all, just listening to different music, like low key, like, and just different sound, and then honestly just probably looking up fashion stuff, just like streetwear brands just to wear.
Mm-hmm.
Now let me say this though, man. Like, you really are about the friends, because you've shouted us out on numerous platforms.
Correct.
And no, we definitely appreciate that. I just want to put that out there. But going back to you being the PR person for Westcott, like, what does that look like on a day-to-day? Like, how do you bring value to them with what you do?
So I bring value to Westcott. Pretty much, I'm that person to where certain events that's out in the city that I think we should be a part of. I just let the team know, but 9 times out of 10, like I tell Shane, I just go ahead and put us in the hat. because I'm like, why wait to where like people already know us, you know? So you know, for example, like Urban Outfitters, when they posted something, and granted I knew Charlie, but it wasn't like, okay, let me reach out to Charlie and be like, oh yeah, this is our brand, this and that. I really, you know, kept it respectful. Hey, you know, what do we need to do? She sent me the information, boom, bam. And, you know, just doing the proper way, because I don't never want no handouts or to think, okay, yeah, I'm Skinny J and I work with such and such. Oh, yeah, that's Skinny. Let's get them in. No, we want to do the same route as every other, because we're still a building brand, building our brand to the 100% we want to get it to. But the day-to-day for us is just pretty much creating, just going over what's new, but what's to push the envelope of what we want to do. To where we got a super collection. We just dropped a collection, with Q. That is fire. It's up now. We got a collection coming out in August. But it's just keeping us in rotation. But then also just like, you know, we want them brands to where we come out with things, but we don't need to drop here every time. You know, we can kind of we want our stuff to linger out, but to keep that message of what you're wearing, you know. Like at Urban, I think when Banks pulled up, we had I forgot the name of that drop, but it was the Carhartt drop. And when we did a couple stuff with Carhartt, and then we had a Sade T, and that was just a collab. We took vintage pieces and kind of put our spin on it. So we just try and let the drops kind of tell that story, and then as you collect the drops, the stories keep building up to that bigger picture.
That's dope.
So I gotta get into this right quick, man. You got so many personas, bro. Yeah. So many. You've been a tennis player, a 70s homie, and much more. Yeah. Where do all these personas come from, bro?
Man, it's just creating. It's crazy you say that, because everybody asks me like with my photo shoots, just like how I like create things, and it just be on the fly, like something just unusual that you see. And like that tennis one, it was just like I actually play tennis, so you know, and shout out. Like what Banks was saying, to decompress, I like play sometimes. So it's like, you know, I'm getting older, but like sometimes I go out there. But I was just thinking one day, I was like, it's like I should just do a shoot with it. And I was just like, called my homie Dennis, and he was just like, man, these came out fire. And you know, just looking back at them, that's like one of my favorite shoots. And it was just honestly me just out there just practicing with some little homie out there. And Dennis was just flicking it up. But it's just that creativity of pushing that envelope of just being unique, different. Because I just feel like everybody do the same thing, but what makes you stand out? And I think a lot of people, when they see like my modeling pictures, it makes me stand out. Like, you know, I went to see Banks at Fat Boys, and you know, just to do my birthday shoot there was special, because it was just like I learned about cars, you know, just cars that I dreamed never I would be taking pictures of, but it was just the creative process of, like, we use that whole Fat Boys tires to, it's not just a tire shop, you know, to granted you can come there, get what you need done, but also just the essence of it being a staple in the city, if you know the history behind it, you know, or, you know, like if you go there and it's a car, you know, LL Cool J had, you know, that's there, and like when I took that picture, a lot of people reached out and was like, you know who car that is? And I was like, yeah, I know who car it is. But I learned who car it was that day, and learning the actual, you know, different things about cars, and just, you know, Matt, you know, Bangs, Pops, and all of them just let me come in there and just do my creativity. But just from the pictures, it just shows it from a beautiful light, to where like my aunt was just like, she knows Banks, Pops, you know, and I'm like, how you know Fat Boy? I know the owner. And I'm like, oh, wow, you know, I'm like, okay. You know, but it was just the beauty part of that too, because it's like I would never. It was wild that she said that, because I'm like, how you know I was there? She was like, I know where you at, you know. But her being over there for years, staying on that side of town, taking her car up there and stuff like that before, you know. So
even crazier is what you. Not only that, but like the whole aspect of community that goes into what you just said again, because it's like you talk about your aunt knowing my pops. Yeah. Then. You came through, you had a clean slate t-shirt on.
Oh, yeah.
Then, you know, we had Fat Boys. Then Marlo came and shot. Oh, yeah. So it's like, yo, look at
Marlo too.
Local, you know, 6,
keeping everything in the mix.
Yeah, and it was just beautiful, even with the video Marlo shot, like just the essence of just a daily life of him, just in, you know, it showed him shooting me, but just that essence of just that work ethic of just two, like, community creative, just within one, like what word I'm thinking of, like just one mission of that bigger picture. So
And as always, man, shout out Big Lloyd.
Shout out.
All right, so Skinny, we have reached the most popular segment of Jack of All Spades Nation. We like to call it Top 5 Dead or Alive. You already know Jada kissing the locks and them boys. So, if you had an unlimited budget,
Okay.
what are and describe the top 5 events that you would curate?
Ooh, man, y'all hit me with the toughie, man. Okay. Unlimited budget.
Unlimited.
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I would do like a Charlotte parking lot event and just bring out everybody, like from like Jay De Niro, like every Charlotte artist like back in the day, like who just really was like going crazy. That's one. You said 5, right?
Yeah, man.
Man, y'all pretty hard. I would do back home. I would just do an out west explosion. From Dom, G Perico, R.I.P. But if Nip was here, like all money in, like just everybody from the out west, just Larry June, all them. Third, I would say I'm a big foodie. So I would do something with food, like having like, a big like food truck thing, but you just come and eat. Honestly, like you just come and eat like any type, like everybody's out there just cooking or whatever. Okay, that's 3. And then 4, it would just be a community like event just for like the whole city to come out to really just engage on what everybody's doing in the community, but then also introduce yourself. Kind of like a community block party, but just highlighting just everybody because, we are aware of what we do, but a lot of people, it's just like on a day-to-day basis, we're doing our own jobs, and it's just like you can come here and really tap into knowing this person, knowing this and that. We do it now, but on a bigger scale to like everybody. What was that, 4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One more. Honestly, and I think I'm working on this one though, but I'm doing a podcast event.
Hey.
And I told y'all a little bit better, but I'm actually working on that. I'm just getting everything logistic, but I really want to put like a lot of podcasts in the room and just have artists come out and just really introduce themselves, but then from a podcast to you really get to know the artist, but I forgot what they call it. It's like those media runs, like when you got everybody in a radio station, but I want to do it from a podcast view. And just really have everybody in there who does dope podcasts to really talk to these artists and then just get to know them or get to know the actual brand and then vice versa.
That's dope. That's super dope, actually.
Yeah, so we working on that. That's what I know I'm doing.
Nah, see, I can't let you get off of this platform without talking about this thing with the community. The research team, shout out Joe Goldberg. Yeah. But you actually did a paint and sip for homeless people. So I can't even gloss over that, man. Like, talk about that experience.
Man, that was just one of the ones. It was just really highlighting, because when you think of like less fortunate, of just like, a lot of people don't like to help them, but at the same time, they're human. So they may not have what we have, but like, why can't they not do what we do, And that was just one of them things to, granted, I may go to paint and sip or I may do this and that, but how can I make a way for them to do it? Because some people never did it before, and when we did it, it was just like, oh, I never did this, but like, why are you doing this for me? And it's just like, I'm doing this because at the same time I have a beautiful heart, but I just want to give back, And it was just one of the ones to like certain ideas to even like now, just not just that one, but I'm in works of working with one of my good friends to just pulling up every Friday and Sunday, just feeding. And it's just because you never know if somebody done had a meal for the day or they ain't ate all day, but just to say, hey, we provide you with a meal or something just in your belly just to get you throughout the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, this boy about the community. This boy about his friends, man. So Skinny, shout out all the social media handles where people can tap in with your movement.
All right. Pretty much I'm active in the streets, so you're gonna see me. But Instagram _SkinnyJ _ the brand Creativity X in collaboration. It's Instagram at Creativity X collaboration. But yeah, I'm just out and about. Like, so if you see me, you know, just what's up. I'm you know, usually locked up with the shades on, just chilling. But I'm just out, you know. And like I tell a lot of people, like, you know, just showing me the love. I just like really supporting others and showing them that love too. So like, I try and make it everywhere. But everybody, it's never been about me. Like, it's always been about my friends, because that pouring into me helps me. So it's like, we just gonna keep it going, because as our community grow, we're building more communities.
Amen.
Leaving that legacy behind.
Big Skinny.
Big Skinny.
All right, so Jack of all Spades Nation, you know where you can find us. Anchor.fm is the, I can't even say they are a gracious sponsor, because we do get a little bit of spins from them. Not much, but we try to boost it up. But they are the reason you can find us on platforms like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Once again, thank you, Carla, for the visuals that you can see on YouTube. But as always, I am the beloved one.
It's your boy YBB. Shout out to the Diasporas.
Banks, Fat Boy Tires.
Already. So Skinny J, what are some parting words you can leave with the Jack of all Spades Nation?
Man, I will leave with the nation. Always be you. Just be you. Do what you do best, and just, you know, just think about what you want to do beforehand, but then leave that legacy after.
Yeah. Well, we getting bars today, y'all.
Oh yeah.
But Jack of all Spades Nation, you know how we close this thing out. One time for a Tribe Called Quest. Rest in peace, Phife Dawg, aka Malik Taylor. Tell your mother, tell your father, send a telegram, and we out.